Hello, and welcome to Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update. I'm Milo Simpson-Bint. Galen Manhart is sitting in with me, and here's what's happening this week. The Supreme Court is deciding the fate of the Obama-era DACA policy. Conservative justices are skeptical about the legality of the program. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, is the policy of allowing people as Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update is next. Coming up, why a California college suspended more than a dozen fraternities.
The hottest new social media platform, it started with teens and is growing in popularity.
Have you been thinking of dropping meat from your diet? We'll take a look at the meatless phenomenon to help you decide if it's right for you.
And the weekly special event happening at the Oakland Museum. All that and more coming up on Urban Nights Update next.
Hello and welcome to Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update. I'm Milo Simpson-Bint. Galen Manhart is sitting in with me, and here's what's happening. This week, the Supreme Court is deciding the fate of the Obama-era DACA policy. Conservative justices are skeptical about the legality of the program. The Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, is the policy of allowing people who were brought to the U.S. as children illegally to receive a 2-year deferred action from deportation. This allows a person to gain a work permit and an opportunity to stay in the United States. The Trump administration has been trying to slowly wind down the project for the last 2 years, stating that the program is legally questionable. With the addition of Justice Brett Kavanaugh, the court now has a decidedly conservative tilt, so the country is waiting to see how it will rule on this important issue.
A dead freshman and fraternity life suspended. That is what happened at San Diego State University. After a freshman student was found dead after attending a fraternity event, but the cause of death has not yet been released. But reports say he fell out of bed. The university decided to indefinitely suspend 14 fraternities on campus, of which 6 were already suspended and 4 were under investigation. Aside from the 14 fraternities suspended, Greek life will continue to function as normal for the other 2 Greek organizations.
In response to this deadly shooting, Airbnb has already begun pushing out new safety features to prevent any more incidents like this from happening. The CEO of the company has reportedly banned party houses and tweeted out some of the major changes that will be immediately put into place. One of which is a 24/7 neighbor hotline staffed by real people. Some other changes include Airbnb verifying 100% of listings, and they will also have to conduct manual reviews of high-risk listings. After a tragic shooting at an Airbnb rental left 5 people dead on Halloween night, one victim's family decided to take action. The family of Raymond Hill Jr. has filed a wrongful death lawsuit and believe that Airbnb, the owner of the home, the town of Orinda, and the party organizers should all be held responsible. In response, Airbnb has stated that they will cover all funeral and counseling expenses for these families.
As TikTok, a Chinese-based company, reaches 110 million US downloads, the awareness of potential geopolitical threat is on the rise. The director of the U.S. National Intelligence views the app as a potential counterintelligence threat that the U.S. can't ignore. The fear is that TikTok serves as a vessel that extends Beijing's influence and control outside of China. As the U.S. comes up with strategies to protect its users, they encourage you to be smart about how you use applications. So what is TikTok exactly? And who and how is the app being used, and why is it growing in popularity? Thomas Delgadillo has more about the app.
I brought you here because I have questions for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's about TikTok.
TikTok, the newest app to take social media by storm, has grabbed the attention of users of all ages. From teens to celebrities, TikTok has become the second most downloaded app in the Apple Store. The app's simplicity and creativity is what captivates its user of all ages. Simply make a video and add a track over it, and boom, there you go. I talked to Lindsay, a high school teen, to see what she likes about the app.
I enjoy using TikTok because the videos can appeal to many different audiences. A lot of the videos are funny and clever. It's a lot of fun to make videos with my friends. It gives us something to do when there's nothing to do.
With TikTok becoming the go-to app, I talked to Cassie and Anissa what they like about the app.
We found out about TikTok, well, I found out about TikTok because of my little cousin, who's a big person on TikTok. I mean, he's not famous, but he loves TikTok. And I kind of thought it was like a joke at first, and then I started getting into it, and it's actually really fun.
Yeah, I found out it from like YouTube, and they made like super cringy videos talking about it. And I was like, I want to see if I could find some, and it ended up being fun.
I'm really into probably the choreographed ones because those are a lot more fun. And then you get it memorized, so then you could go like this. Hold on, it's almost done. There it is. And you can do it to any song, so it teaches you a lot. It's very educational. And I think that's also why it's so addicting, because you can use and reference TikTok anytime, any date, for any like situation.
Very quotable.
Yeah, very.
Very quotable.
As people continue to use TikTok, time will only tell how big this app will grow. Reporting from San Francisco, I'm Thomas Delgadillo, and this was your Urban Nights Update.
Big summer blowout?
As teenagers all across the country obsess over the app, social media safety is trending in the classroom. Teachers across the country are taking the time out of their typical lessons plans to share with their students the dangers that come with social media and the internet.
1 in 3 San Francisco residents want out. A recent survey conducted by San Francisco's Office of the Comptroller found that 35% of residents were either somewhat or very likely to move out of SF in the next 3 years. This is not the first time people have wanted out of the city or California, with the state census concluding that 691,000 people moved out of the state last year. The Comptroller's Office also found that 22% of SF residents were not too likely to move and 42% not likely at all. Gen Z is making money. According to a study published by USA Today, workers around ages 20 to 24 are receiving pay increases of up to 6%, double the wage gain of workers throughout the U.S. Recent graduates are benefiting from the tightest job market in decades, with 3.6% unemployment rate just above a 50-year low. This has made it hard on employers to find qualified workers, forcing them to hand out modest raises to bring in more employees. Bay Area cities have some of the happiest renters in the world. According to the 2019 State of the American Renter Report, both San Jose and Oakland were in the top 5 for happiest renters in the U.S. Data included percentage of respondents who thought they were getting a good deal, satisfaction for their current living situation, and living in their rental for more than 5 years. Hometown pride was also a factor. It was concluded that these two Bay Area cities had some of the highest retention rates among renters in the country.
This year marks the 5-year anniversary of CVS banning tobacco from all their stores, and it's a decision they don't regret. According to CVS's CEO, Larry Merlot, the actions came out of realization that smoking is the leading preventable cause of death in the United States, and CVS, as a healthcare provider, shouldn't sell smoking products. They hope to inspire other companies to take similar actions to create a healthier community, country, and world. This weekend, the American Heart Association will present 2 new studies that show how bad vaping really is. One of the studies even shows that vaping decreases the blood flow to your heart more than normal cigarettes do. Co-author of the study, Dr. Susan Chang, said they were surprised by the results. But with now over 2,000 cases of vaping-related illnesses, she warns all consumers to seriously consider that vaping can be more harmful than normal smoking, even if the vapor is nicotine-free.
A team of 11,000 scientists is now urging people to eat less meat, not necessarily for health reasons, but for environmental reasons. The scientists are from 153 different countries, and they all co-signed a paper that appeared in the Bioscience Journal. The paper stated that the areas of action that can help slow the impact of climate change. One of the action items include food. The idea is to promote less meat consumption because it reduces methane gas and frees up land for growing food for people rather than animals. We've been hearing so much about plant-based diets lately. What does that really mean, and is it something you might want to consider? Alex Golombiewski sheds some light on the subject.
Braylon has been plant-based for over a year now, but it's not always a choice for some people. For centuries, we have been taught that meat is the way to go if you want to gain weight and be healthy. But what people secretly don't know is that animals are just the middlemen. Think about it. What do animals eat? That's right. Animals eat plants, so it only makes sense to eat plant-based things. Not everyone believes that this is the correct way to live, but for some people, it has saved their life and allowed them to live everyday life with ease. Here we have Braylon, who will share his reasoning behind his diet.
So basically, at the beginning of the year, I was having an issue with my stomach. I was having acid reflexes, and I talked to my doctor about it, and pretty much she just told me that because of my family history, it would be better for me to switch to a plant-based diet so my digestion system can work better.
Now that we've heard someone who's been on this plant-based diet, let's hear from someone who's on the production side of it. A store called Whole Foods is a popular store where people go to get fresh products. We got a chance to interview someone who works here and explain how this plant-based trend has affected the demand for certain foods. He requested not to be on camera.
Hey, so what's going on? This is Aaron at Whole Foods. So basically I would say it's a pretty big trend. A lot of people are trying to get on board with a healthier diet. So I would say the sales have pretty much increased over time. However, people are still into meat that is grass-fed and not actually plant-based, so those are still selling as well. But ultimately, there is a higher, spike in sales of plant-based meats, and also there's still pretty steady sales of regular-based meats. So ultimately, everybody seems to be getting what they want.
You will be surprised on how your body reacts to certain foods. Meat isn't always the answer. Plants are the new way to go, and it's healthier and actually tastes amazing. Here in San Francisco, Alex Golombiewski with your Urban Nights update.
A recent Grubhub survey showed that orders of vegan-friendly food have gone up 25% in 2019 compared to a year ago.
A meatless burger? Impossible. Or is it? Burger King is going all in on the Impossible Burger trend that is sweeping North America. They are so invested, in fact, that they announced they will produce these Impossible Burgers in over 20 markets worldwide. Due to their acceptance of Impossible Burgers on their menus, Burger King saw their sales increase by 5%, which is the largest jump since 2015. Of all the major fast food chains, they are the biggest believer in Impossible Burgers. Finally, an ice cream that everyone can eat. Gone are the days of lactose-intolerant people having to suffer and watch others eat delicious ice cream, because now there is plant-based ice cream. A startup named Eclipse Foods has begun production on ice cream made completely from plant products. Their plan is to cut out the middleman and just use what cows eat to make the ice cream. According to a CNN blind taste test, the plant-based ice cream was indistinguishable from normal ice cream.
Nutrition trends are constantly changing, and sometimes it can be hard to understand what is worth your time. To better understand this, I explore what past nutrition trends are like and what present ones can offer you. Food trends. They're always changing. It seems that every year there's another popular way to lose weight and stay healthy. From a lemon and cayenne cleanse to a grapefruit diet, do these trends actually work, or are they a commodity? This is what Melissa Greenlee, a nutrition expert, has to say.
As a consumer or as someone who uses a certain kind of diet, you have to do your research and you have to think with common sense. Like something like, the grapefruit diet. Inherently, we know that only eating grapefruit, you're starving yourself. You're not getting enough nutrition from that. There's no protein in it. There's just, sugar. And so you have to use your brain, basically, to decide.
In the last 60 years, Americans have become more health conscious. A survey done by the International Food Council found that this past year, 36% of Americans followed some sort of nutrition diet, whereas in 2017, only 14% followed that diet. I want to know what makes the difference.
People are talking more about diabetes and more about extra sugar consumption. So I think some people are, seeing people they know being diagnosed with these kinds of things. And so that's a concern.
With health constantly trending, diets are always changing. These are the numbers of the most popular nutrition trends this year compared to last. The keto diet and intermittent fasting has had a large increase. Maddie was a vegetarian but switched to intermittent fasting. This was her experience with the transition.
You basically plan your meals, maybe one meal in the morning and one meal at night. I kind of suffer from nausea, so it helped with the span of eating during specific times. I know that kind of sounds crazy, but it actually really helped. I could have bigger portions and that was more filling rather than eating 3 small meals a day.
While some trends do make a difference, some are more for show. Make sure to do what is best for you first and never follow a trend without doing the proper research. In San Francisco, I'm Milo Simpson-Bint. According to foodinsight.org, 2 out of 5 Americans say that their diet is extremely different than what it was 10 years ago. The food tech industry is booming more than ever. Companies in the leading food tech country, Israel, are working on technologies to decrease animal cruelty, protect natural resources, and help people with struggling with diabetes. They try to achieve it with, for example, detecting the gender of chicks before hatching, producing cultured meat, and finding alternatives to sugar. However, only time will tell how successful and realistic these methods are.
For those of you who enjoy using voice-controlled devices such as Alexa and Siri, be on the lookout. New research has found that hackers may be able to take control of your device with just a simple laser pointer, as long as it's in line of sight. This is because the built-in microphones for these devices respond to focused light as if it were sound. Once hackers gain access to these devices, they are now open to manipulation and could end with hackers gaining your private information, such as accounts and credit cards. To play it safe, researchers suggest keeping these devices away from Windows. Apple's in the headlines again, but not because of a new release. Instead, they are being accused of discriminating against women when it comes to getting the new Apple credit card. The complaints state that men are being offered higher credit limits than women. Even Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak claims that he was offered a higher limit than his wife. The New York State of Financial Services is now investigating these claims.
As the fall sports seasons are coming to an end, the action has yet to slow down. Cross country, soccer, and women's volleyball all competed this past week. Also, women's and men's basketball kicked off their season with exciting finishes in both. Thomas Degadillo joins us with details.
As men's soccer heads into its last week of play, they travel to play Chaminade University of Honolulu on Saturday. Edard Edvarson scored his second goal of the season in the first half to tie the game, but Chaminade pulled away in the second half with a 3-1 victory. Women's soccer also faced Chaminade and unfortunately, they too lost to a score of 1-0. Both men and women will wrap up their season at Hawaii Hilo on Thursday. The 2019 NCAA Division II West Regional Cross Country Championship was this past weekend. Urban Knights' very own Hassan Carrara posted a personal best as she placed 12th in the individuals. Her time qualified her for the NCAA National Championship race on November 23rd. The women's team season, however, came to an end as they finished 16th at the event. The men's team season also ended as they finished 10th. This past weekend, the women's volleyball team took a trip down to Southern California as they took on Azusa Pacific and Point Loma. Despite the strong performance from Urban Knights' Pacabo Reinhold, who led the conference in aces and was second in assists this past week, the team dropped both games in just 3 sets. The team looks to get back on track this week with 2 important conference matches. Basketball season is finally upon us. The men's and women's team both kicked off their 2019-2020 campaign with 2 games this past weekend. The women's team opened the year with a commanding 72-63 win over Western Oregon on Friday. However, Saturday's game versus Concordia, Oregon was a nail-biter. As the time expired, graduate student Taylor Bennett hit the game-winning layup to put the Urban Knights on top 79-77. Bennett finished the game with a team's high 26 points. The women's basketball's next game will be December 5th at Fresno Pacific. The men's team opened their season against crosstown rival San Francisco State. Despite standout performance from senior Tim Graham, who had 12 points and 5 rebounds, the Urban Knights fell to the Gators 78-63. Saturday, the Urban Knights would quickly bounce back. Junior Kai T's 19 points performance helped lead the way to a 64-60 victory over Sonoma State. Not only was this the first win of the season for the team, but also for a new head coach, Scott Waterman, as an Urban Knight. The men's team will look to keep it going as they go down to face Cal State East Bay tonight at 7:30. Earlier today, I was able to sit down with Jasmine Becker, a dual sport athlete at the Academy of Art, to see what challenges she faces. I'm here with Jasmine Becker, a dual sport athlete at the Academy of Art. She runs cross country and track. We're going to talk to her a little bit, and thank you for being here today.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So how did you get involved in the 2 sports?
So with running cross country and track, being a long distance runner, you kind of have to do track if you're going to do cross country, because with running it's very important to constantly be training throughout the year and you don't really get much time off. So I run the long distance like normal races for cross country, and then in the spring I follow that immediately with like indoor and then outdoor track, where then I run the long distance races, maybe like the mile or 5K.
And then coming into the Academy of Art, did you initially plan on being a dual sport athlete, or did they come after, like, recruit you for both of the sports?
So I definitely knew I wanted to do cross country because that tends to be like my favorite sport. But then when I was doing my recruit visit and kind of was talking to more of the athletes and the coaches that were already here, I learned more that it's kind of like you have to do track. You know, you're expected to do that, because if you don't do track but you're a cross country runner, you're gonna have to do a lot of catching up in training for the cross country season. So it was kind of like when on my recruit visit, I then like found out that okay, I would be doing both cross country and track if I'm gonna commit to this school.
Now, one sport is a challenge enough, balancing it with school and afterlife, all that. How do you struggle having 2?
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot to handle, because most sports, like, they have an off season where, okay, maybe they can at least get more classes in or just have more free time or have more time to fit in a job. But with cross country and track, I maybe get 2 to 3 weeks in between the season, but other than that, I'm just training and practicing and competing year round. So aside from summertime, but even then I'm still training. So it really is non-stop, and so that's kind of a challenge, because it kind of sets me a little bit behind in I can't get ahead in my degree process because I can't try and take extra classes in off season. I'm kind of limited to taking like 4 classes each semester in order to have enough time to manage both. So it's definitely a challenge to like constantly stay motivated throughout the entire year and still be dedicated to both school and running, and not have as much of a mental break or physical break that other athletes sometimes have.
And you enjoy both sports and all that workload you have?
I do, yeah. That's definitely the thing that makes it all worth it, is that I'm passionate about fashion design, my major, and really enjoy the classes, even though it's like a lot of work. But I also have, if anything, grown to love running more since running in college, and my love for the sport has grown even more. So I I miss it when I'm in the off season. So it's nice to have that like passion for it that makes it worth it to continue throughout it all.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
And I'm here with Jasmine Becker, and good luck to you in your season. Back to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas and Jasmine. When people think of museums, they usually don't think of anything exciting. The Museum of Oakland, California is changing that stereotype. By staying up to date with what people are interested in, they have been able to consistently drive in abnormally large crowds. We have Justin Summers on the scene with more.
Yeah, so perhaps in the future I'll be more of a patron of Oakland Museum of California. But for now, it's neat to see people coming out.
That was Bruce Wiseman. Bruce has been a resident in Oakland, California for 18 years. However, this was his first time coming to the Oakland Museum of California for its Friday night event.
It's been fun for the most part. I often just come to the free Sunday, but then also there's the great park out here and the terraces. So even if you don't want to go into the museum, it's a public park, so it's a great place to stop by.
This is a gathering that the museum hosts every single Friday from 5 to 10 p.m. They close off the street and bring in off-the-grid food trucks, live music, and other fun activities for families as well. Oakland Museum sees this as an opportunity for people from Oakland and all over the Bay Area to gather in one space and enjoy each other. This is one of few events that the Museum of Oakland, California puts on every year to bring the community closer and closer. Oakland Museum worker Linda talks a little more about what other events they host, as well as what her job is helping out the community.
Yeah, we have several different festivals that we run. So we do Dia de los Muertos every year. We do Lunar New Year. We have a summer reading festival that we partner with Oakland Public Library. So Brisa and I, my name is Linda, we're both museum educators. So we teach programs that are interdisciplinary, that bridge art, science, and history, and really get kids to think about how they can be like change makers in their communities.
The Oakland Museum of California is definitely one step ahead when it comes to giving the people what they want. In Oakland, I'm Justin Summers, and this has been your Urban Nights Update.
This event is every single Friday, so don't be afraid to stop by for some food and fun.
2019 will be over in less than 2 months, and it is time to look back at the first 20 years of this century. There was a lot to offer, and especially with many movies that we grew up with and makes us revel in memories. But one of those movies gets a remake before the end of the year, and Pacabo Reinhold has all the details.
The High School Musical trilogy was the 3 movies almost all of us watched and grew up with. Now Disney decided to bring back the memories and make a remake of these movies in form of a series. The 10th-episode series aired for the first time on November 12th. However, actress Olivia Rodrigo has to disappoint you a little bit because even though it is a remake, there are a lot of things different from the classic movies.
The series is completely different. It's new characters, new plot, new original music, but we're still paying homage to the old original movies, which I think is great because they're filled with so much nostalgia, and we could never ever possibly recreate that lightning in a bottle. So it's great to kind of have some of the classic aspects of it, like the songs, and still do our own new thing with it.
Still, the series was shot in the real-life East High, and actor Joshua Bassett promises that there's a lot you can look forward to and that makes you relive your childhood.
I think they're going to love all the characters, I really do. I think the songs that we reimagined from the original movies they're going to love, and the brand new songs. There's certain magic in them and that certain special element in all the songs in the new series that I think people are going to be jamming along to for a very long time.
If you didn't grow up with these movies or didn't watch them or like them for some reason, there are enough other movies you can watch this month. 21 Bridges is one of them. You might know the leading actor mainly as the Black Panther, but Chadwick Boseman, who plays the cop Andrew Davis, does a great job of playing a different kind of hero in this action movie. 21 Bridges will be released on November 22nd.
All these families to be traumatized with trials and appeals and parole hearings. I'm asking you to protect them from that. I understand.
Everything about these guys has been competent so far. Close the island.
What island?
Manhattan. The 21 bridges, shut them down.
The movie covers an important topic of co-op cups, and Chadwick Boseman can guarantee that the audience can look forward to a sometimes confusing but really intriguing movie.
What you're watching, I guess, through the course of the movie is, are there any cops that aren't dirty involved in this? And, you know, there's sort of this, the audience is trying to balance whether or not the bad guys are really bad or whether the good guys are really good. And so that's essentially the chase that you're seeing throughout.
From this a hero to another one, but this time to a hero of the music world. The documentary Shakira in Concert El Dorado World Tour is about Shakira's 2018 World Tour and is in the theaters since November 13th. It gives the audience an inspiring insight into her journey of going through a tough vocal injury and coming back stronger and better than ever. And that's it for today's entertainment update. I hope I could give you some ideas of what you can watch during the holiday season. See you next time, and now back to you, Galen.
Thanks, Bacabo, for that entertainment report. A lot to look forward to. Many of you have heard of K-pop, that special brand of Korean pop music. But have you ever stopped to think about what other Korean imports have found their way into American culture? Andy Choi takes a look.
The Korean music industry had skyrocketed in popularity in the past couple of years with the noticeable artists like Psy and BTS. Mike Sharek gives us his insight on the Korean culture.
Oh, K-pop.
K-pop, why so?
Because it's so catchy and everybody listens to it now and they tour here in LA. I just hear it, you know, when you go to the stores or, you know, my girlfriend will listen to it or my friends. It's probably a lot of K-pop and just how fast it's spread and getting everyone really interested in it and like the phones and the technology. Sort of everyone gets caught in it and starts to enjoy it.
As the Korean culture is being popularized throughout the world, we take a deeper look into it.
Korean snacks along with its famous alcohols, especially soju, has been enjoyed by many around the world. Don't forget about the beauty products that the K-pop stars are promoting for better skincare. Here is Peter Kim on why he thinks the culture is being recognized more.
Definitely because of the K-pop culture, and because of that, I think people have more influence in the food. Kind of trigger like a domino effect into people just being more aware and more involved in Korean culture and also Korean food.
Reporting from San Francisco, my name was Andy J. Choi for Urban Nights Updates.
Well, that wraps up this edition of Academy of Art University's Urban Nights Update. I'm Galen Manhard.
And I'm Milo Simpson-Bint. For everyone here, thanks for joining us. See you back next time.